everybody. Wendie Lloyd and Maria Kemp here. We are back with Entrepreneurs Unplugged, episode 3. For those of you that haven't seen our previous videos or my live interview with Maria, we are doing a four-part series, if I can talk right, 4-part series on Entrepreneurs Unplugged. Maria is a pastry chef. She is the owner of Decadence, an amazing pop-up bakery.
And dessert cater. Servicing Lake Norman and Charlotte.
Brought to you by Beyond Decadence. But her products are amazing, and she puts a lot of her heart and soul into these desserts and pastries. They're beautiful. They taste amazing. But we are really more focused on the business side of things.
Yeah.
You know, throughout this four-part series. I keep wanting to say 4-part series. And, you know, Maria's business is service and product oriented. But I think the principles of her and I have been discussing, because myself as a coach and counselor, obviously it's more service-based, but a lot of the principles apply across the board, no matter what your business is. So no matter if it's a service or a product or who you're serving.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of that. And that's what we're really focused on in these videos that we are putting together. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about when it's okay to say no. Or
Right.
that it is okay to say no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not every opportunity is necessarily an opportunity you need to say yes to. Not every person is an ideal client or customer. And I think, Maria, let's dive in on that topic.
Okay.
What, from your perspective and the things you've learned and as you've grown as an entrepreneur, what do you find is when it comes to customers?
Yeah, like you said, you can't say no to everybody. And as much as you want to say yes to everybody, because let's be realistic, regardless of the business that you're in, whether you're providing a product or a service, you want that revenue.
Right.
You don't want to say no to people and have them go away with, you know, what could be perceived as an unpleasant experience because, well, she said no to me. She wouldn't take my business, you know. Does she not need my business? Is she too good for me?
Right.
That, you know, you can go into this kind of that spin of all the things that you might think the customer is thinking or translating by you saying no. But the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of different reasons that you can say no. It may be, price may be one factor. If the budgets are horribly misaligned, discounting your product or service does not win you any continued business. It ends up ending you additional people or customers who are always looking for a discount or bargain. You know, kind of like the Kmart blue light special. I know Kmart is gone, but I probably dated myself a little bit there. But those typically are not the type of customers that you want. They will find other people who can service them.
Right. And I was just going to kind of interject before we got too far down the road is I think a lot of times when you're just starting out, like you mentioned about the revenue and you're trying to build your business, it is really hard sometimes to say no or to recognize that that isn't an ideal client, you know?
Well, like I talked about in the last video too, where I talked about the customer who ordered one, I remember it, I think it was one lemon bar and then one little vegan gluten-free cakelet. I mean, one of each.
Right.
And I was afraid to say no because my business was still fairly new then. I think I was in maybe my first year, somewhere in there. And so I said yes, and so I had to make that and had, you know, the extra left and, you know, meet them on a Sunday because I thought, well, I'll make such a good impression on them because I'm going to do such a phenomenal job that I'm going to get continued business, and it didn't work out that way at all. I never heard from them again. But other reasons that can lead you to saying no could be things, it could be, let's be honest, it could be personality conflict.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to click with every customer you have, nor are they going to click with you. And when you try and force a relationship or just a personality, a meeting of personality, I can't think of the right term.
There's personality. I mean, I find that, you know, and we talked a little bit before, when I have somebody come to me, you know, for coaching, for example, you know, obviously there's going to be a lot of factors, just like with yours. Like you mentioned, there's price, experience, background, all those things. What's your focus? What's your modality? What's your program look like? What's in your products for you? But at the end of the day, if you don't click and there's not a connection with that person, with that customer, you know what? It doesn't matter what your price is. It doesn't matter what your product or service is. If there's not synergy, and your personalities clash or expectations are so far apart, that's not your ideal client or customer. And they're not going to be sustainable.
Exactly. And you have to, I mean, and I've learned to, follow that, that inside knowing, that leading, just, you want to walk away from this. And, I always do it very professionally and very respectfully, but that I need to walk away. And to not just charge forward because, I want the money or I want the exposure. I mean, that's another reason that you may or may not move forward. You may be thinking, I want the exposure that this is going to bring. I want the recognition. Or, this crowd's going to be there. These people with these are the people. These are the people. These are the people with the deep pockets that are going to be there. And if you let the wrong things, it's kind of like the shiny object. Look at the shiny object. Ignore all the red flags and look at the shiny object. And you charge forward and do it, then you'll probably find out very quickly why you should not have done that. So that's one of the things that I've learned and continue to learn, because once you think you have it figured out, then it changes a little
There's
bit.
a little shift. There's always a curveball.
Yeah, or other things get, thrown at you that you don't expect. I mean, we just tipped the iceberg on, price, discounting, maybe it's personality. It could be logistics. I mean, the location, the time. And in my business, maybe it comes from my IT background, but then also pastry chefs are usually pretty detailed. I'm very detailed. Very detailed. She is. What you do, you'll love it or you'll hate it. When I'm working for you, you're going to love it because everything is going to be on point.
It's going to be, what you're going to get.
You know what you're going to get. But you have to look at that too in terms of your customers, especially when I'm doing events or when I'm trying to help them through whatever their celebration or festivity may be. There's information I need from you. We need to talk about price. We need to talk about, is it a very casual environment? Is it seated? Is it plated? Is it served? Is there a dessert table?
The expectations.
Right.
What are all the expectations? And can you meet those expectations and still deliver quality?
Right. And are there allergy concerns?
Right.
So those are things from my industry that I have to stop and consider, but you can relate those to whatever your service or product may be, and those are things that you have to kind of throw into the hopper to evaluate whether this is the right customer for you, whether this is the right job that you need to say yes to, or whether you need to pass.
Right, and it's the same and I think we're going to go into this a little bit later, more detail, but what events to attend, where to market, where to put yourself, and knowing that, this might be a fantastic conference that's happening, but am I going to get the return on investment if I spend, $1,000 for a booth at this event? Is that my clientele? And learning to say no to some of those opportunities, right?
Well, yeah, it's learning to say no to those opportunities and always evaluating the ROI, return on investment. And you can take that same thing into people wanting your time.
Yes. Yeah, ROI isn't just financial.
No.
It's your time, it's your energy, it's your focus. Does it keep you on track with your plan and your vision for your vision in your life, or for your business in your life?
And being so accessible as we all are through social media, and let's be honest, we always have these with us all the time.
Yes, we do.
So if we leave the house with it, we rush back up the driveway. Like,
where's my phone?
I almost left without you.
So it's become another appendage.
It has. And so guarding your time. And I know we're going to talk more about boundaries in the next episode.
Next.
Yeah.
So as far as just about knowing when to say no, and that it is okay to say no, one other area that I'd like us to touch on here before we run out of time is, once you have your customers right, and we talked about expectations of customers, expectations of other people on you as an entrepreneur, and particularly for you with your products. And what are some of maybe the areas where you find you've really had to say no, you've really had to get firm on the no?
Oh yeah, that's an easy one. As you can imagine, when people hear that I'm a pastry chef or you have a bakery, their eyes light up like it's Christmas Day. Did you bring me any free samples, or do you have any free samples? And no, I do not carry a Tupperware container on my body at all times filled with, your favorite treat. So let's just dispel that myth right now.
Yeah.
But people don't realize the cost of free samples, because the time, the ingredients, and then that's taking me away from doing activities that are revenue generating. That if I get asked for free samples all the time, and it can be, and people might think, well, if it's only a one little piece or two little pieces or whatever, well, I still have to make that, and that still costs money, and there's still a value, there's still a price I would charge if you were paying for it. But the reality is that I get asked for extremely large quantities for free on a regular basis, and I had to just really take a firm stance and say, no, I'm sorry, I've reached my capacity, I'm not able to do that, or you can place an order.
Yes.
Because I've been at conferences before and stood up, and the speaker would ask me, did you bring any samples for us? I'm like, we're at a business conference, and we're all supposed to be learning how to grow our businesses, and you're asking me for free from the stage?
Exactly.
What that sends a really bad message to all the participants.
The precedents.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But we're all in money to make business, or we're all in
business.
Oh my goodness, we're all in business to make money, and just being in the pastry side, my goal isn't any different. I want to deliver a quality product for a price.
Right, right. And you had mentioned this, I think, in episode 2 about, for you, I think you had a customer, that had requested like one of each, just a couple items, and what people need to realize for you is, when we talk about time and money and energy, is you can't just make 5 lemon bars.
Right, exactly.
You've got to make a whole, you got to do the batch, and then how much are you giving away, and then that becomes an expectation. Oh, Maria's coming, we're going to get blah 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 for free. If you set that precedence, and it does apply even service wise, product wise. I know what happens, and my son, he's in the drink business, and he gets the same thing. Oh, you don't have any free, and like you said, it's not like you guys walk around with this big chest of free product, but also it can cross a line of being disrespectful of your quality product, your time, and your money. But it also applies from a service perspective, right? From, and I'm not going to get into, like, for me, because that could be a whole episode in and of itself. But when with the coaching or even the counseling, any of that, it's such a fine line, right? People wanting advice for free, or people,
Yeah, and what I look at too, people might say, well, how do you make a decision? Well, it depends on, what I have going on, and who's asking, and just, how much free stuff I've already given away. But then the practical matter of it is has that person bought from me? Are they even a customer?
Right, exactly.
Because one of the expressions that is just, it's like, I don't know, it says all the time, people always say, well, we want to help you get your name out there. Well, one of the best things you could do to help me get my name out there is buy my product, love it, enjoy it, write rave reviews, or share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Not, well, I want to help you get your name out there by you giving me free product. and
if you could buy my review.
Yeah, and maybe everybody will know where it's from, or maybe they won't. But the fact of the matter is, regardless of what business or industry you're in, people do not appreciate what they get for free. They do not value what they
People
get for
don't.
free.
People, it's true.
It
It's
doesn't bring them
very
running back to
true.
your door with their money in their hand. Yeah, they don't value it.
It doesn't, and I think in any industry too, being cautious of, what you're giving away, you have value to yourself,
Right.
and you don't want to devalue yourself. You don't want to devalue your time and energy and the training and learning and all of that you've invested.
Right. Pastry school wasn't free.
It wasn't?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I wish it was.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as an entrepreneur, it's learning the times to say no, and it is okay to say no. And in fact, I think it's a must that we say no at times, because if we say yes to every opportunity, we say yes to every potential customer, we say yes every time someone asks us for a favor, or can you give some free product or this or that,
You get known for giving away free then.
Well,
and then nobody ever wants to pay.
Right. and it takes away, you're going to be drained.
Right.
And you're not going to be ahead at all whatsoever.
Right.
So really, saying no as in any aspect of our life, right? Saying no is crucial to taking care of yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's going to leads into our next episode. We're going to be talking about burnout. And learning when to say yes and learning when to say no is a big piece of that. Right. But it's also, it's okay to say no, guys, because not everybody's your ideal client or customer. And, your time is valuable. Your knowledge is valuable. Everything you've poured into your business as an entrepreneur holds value. And we can't let other people disrespect that.
Yeah, I love the thing that goes around on Facebook every now and then where it says that, you're not paying for, and I know you'll love this too, you're not paying for the 30 minutes that I spent making your item or, working with you. You're paying for the 20 years of experience that I have, so it only takes 30 minutes or something like
yes,
that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I think any entrepreneur can definitely relate to that, when you start to question or doubt, or, if you get challenged on it. People are paying for your experience to be at that point and that level that you can do things quickly. Now, there's still, the material cost and a realized value as well, a tangible cost, but the intangible,
is your time. And, and it's not to say that you're not going to give, value to people without charging them. It's not like, you're going to turn everybody, but it's knowing when to say no and when to draw that line, and knowing how much to offer as far as just giving away, or how much of your time and energy to put into something, or when to say no to an event, to a group of people that might not be your ideal clients or your target market, or sustainable for your business.
Right. So. Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us, Maria. Thank you again for sharing your insight and knowledge. Beyond Decadence. Maria
Thanksgiving
Kemp
is coming. Order now.
Yes, she's got her pre-orders out, and when we post the video she'll include in there, right, the link that they can go and order now. Order early so that she can be prepared and get you those quality products.
Thank you guys. See you guys next time.
Take care.